Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see about error analysis. Error analysis in language learning aims to provide the knowledge about the different errors committed by the learners, and it also highlights the causes and reasons behind these errors. In the process of language learning, the learners commit errors while speaking and writing. It is not possible for a teacher or a learner to get rid of this problem without practicing the language. In applied linguistics, an error is an unintended deviation from the immanent rules of a language variety made by a second language learner. A significant distinction is generally made between errors, that is, systematic deviations, and mistakes, speech performance errors, which are not treated the same from a linguistic viewpoint. In linguistics, error is defined as a learner's lack of proper grammatical knowledge, whereas mistake is a failure to use a known system correctly. Mistakes include slips of the tongue and random ungrammatical formations. Errors are systematic and occur repeatedly and are not recognized by the learner. S. Pitt Corder was probably the first to point out and discuss the importance of errors learners make in course of their learning a second language. Brown suggests that the process of second language learning is not very different from learning a first language, and the feedback of a second language learner gets upon making errors benefit him in developing the second language knowledge. Now, error analysis, that is EA, is simply the systematic study of language mistakes. Stephen Pitt Corder revolutionized the field of applied linguistics in the 1960s, and he pointed out the utility of errors in language learning. Linguists analyze the materials that have been produced by language learners, such as written text, composed paragraphs, and recorded audio. Then they identify errors in the content. Error analysis can make language learning more effective. A systematic analysis of the learner's errors will enable the teacher to grade, recognize, and present the text materials in a very effective manner. Error analysis enables the teachers in making the entire process of second language learning and teaching a more meaningful and effective phenomenon. And when we see about the causes of errors, the first one is simplification. Learners often choose simple forms and constructions instead of more complex ones. And then comes first language interference. Norris states that learning a language, a mother tongue or a foreign language, is a matter of habit formation. Then we have translation. Translation is one of the causes of errors. And then we have generalization. This is the use of one form or construction of one context and extending its application to other contexts where it should not apply. And then we have the incomplete application of rules. In incomplete application of rules, the occurrence of structures whose deviancy represents the degree of development of the rules required to produce acceptable utterances. The sound system and the grammar of the first language impose themselves on the new language, and this leads to a foreign pronunciation, faulty grammatical patterns, and occasionally to the wrong choice of vocabulary. And then we have false concepts hypothesized. False concepts hypothesized are something due to a poor gradation of teaching items. And then we have the hypercorrection. Sometimes the zealous efforts of teachers in correcting their students' errors induce the students to make errors in otherwise correct forms. This type of error is also known as induced errors. And then we have faulty teaching. Sometimes it happens that learners' errors are teacher-induced ones. That is, which are caused by the teacher, teaching materials, or the order of presentation. And then we have fossilization. Some errors, especially errors in pronunciation, persist for longer periods and become quite difficult to get rid of. And then we have avoidance. Some syntactic structures are difficult to produce by some learners. And when we think about the sources of errors, we can categorize them in two domains. One is interlingual transfer, another one is intralingual transfer. Now, interlingual transfer errors may occur at different levels, such as transfer of phonological, morphological, grammatical, and lexical semantic elements of the native language into the target language. Intralingual transfer interferences from the student's own language is not the only reason for committing errors. And the steps in error analysis, according to linguist Corder, the following are the steps. collecting samples of the learner's language, identifying the errors, describing the errors, explaining the errors, and evaluating and correcting the errors. When it comes to collection of errors, we have to collect the relevant data that contains errors committed by the language learners. The data may be written or spoken, general or specific. And then comes identification of errors. We have to identify the existing errors in the data. Description of the errors is description should be followed by the categorization of errors such as grammatical errors, which include omission, addition, substitution, wrong transformation, wrong plural formation, and use of wrong verb forms, etc. And then we have the explanation of errors, where the errors are explained and which are concerned with determining the causes of errors. And then we have the correction of errors. The teachers correct the errors or the learners themselves correct the errors under the guidance of the teacher. Error analysis also indicates the difficult areas of the learners and solution to their problems and makes the teaching and learning process a meaningful one. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please do write it in the comment box, like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.